Hey guys, today we are going to be making this very sweet and easy to do, very bright and fun floral arrangement in a white-ish sort of bowl or vase. You will need paint, obviously, some small brushes, and about a half an hour. So hopefully you'll do this with me and we'll have a great time. Thank you. Hey guys, it's Julianne. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. We are going to be making a mini canvas vase of flowers or a bowl of flowers. So what are you going to need for this today? You're going to need a mini canvas, which is a 4x4, but you can use any size canvas you want. You're going to need some paint, of course, and these are the colors that I'm going to use today, which is orange, bright blue, off-white, sort of like a darker green, a lighter green, and we have this pink. It's like a rose pink, and then we have a medium pink and a light pink. And for brushes, you're gonna need just a couple of small detailed brushes, maybe one that's like that size, which is a little small medium, and then some other sort of ones that have like a pointy end on it because you're gonna be doing little dots. And of course, water, a cup of water, and some paper towel. So the first thing we're going to do is, I just want to let you know, I did this canvas, I did paint sort of a very light colored gray and white on it, but you don't have to do that. You can just start with a plain white canvas, or you could do any other color background that you want. So it's entirely up to you. But this does have a tiny light gray white base coat on it. So let's start with our white. Actually, move this over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a very simple sort of vase like that. Line straight across, curving line in, nothing too fancy. And if it's kind of messy at first, that's okay. You can go back in and round it out so that it looks better and more symmetrical. Please ignore the truck beeping in the background. They're doing some work outside to my building that I'm in, replacing brick. So the trucks are in and out, in and out. It's a very old building that used to be a shoe factory. It's over, say, I think it was built in like the 1840s or something like that. So it's a cool building. It's very busy. All right, so I'm just kind of putting in a sort of bowl like that, nothing fancy. We're gonna just do plain white, but you can do whatever color you want. Alrighty, I'm gonna wash that brush off a little bit. Actually, I think I'm just gonna put in a little bit more paint to give it some texture. So I'm kind of, I don't want to say glopping it on, but I'm kind of layering it on a little bit thicker, just like that. All right, so now I'm gonna wash that brush, so put that brush in, and I'm going to put that brush in water, excuse me. Now I'm gonna start doing some leaves. So I'm gonna take this brush, and I just put a little bit of water on it. And then I always like to sort of pinch it so that it has a kind of a pointy end to it. You don't have to do that though. I'm gonna take my light green and I'm just gonna start doing little leaves. Leaves, not leaves, leaves. So what it is just like, almost pointy little leaves. I don't really know how else to say it. Randomly put them in. Doesn't have to be perfect. The other thing you might hear is the wind howling outside. It makes a spooky sound. Just like that. So that is a little bit of information on my building. And there's 100 and 20 artists, I think, in this building. It's a cool place to work. All right, so I'm just dropping in these leaves any old way. Doesn't have to be perfect, or just dropping them in. Okay, we're really not even going to see much of these leaves after we start layering in the flowers, but they're just good to kind of have in there. Okay, so I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go back in. I'm just going to start putting in some stems like that. Then add in more leaves, more leaves, more leaves. And, you know, you don't have to do it this way. You can do it, you know, whatever way you want. You can do the stems first. I like to change it up. Do things a little different each time. Makes it fun and interesting. Oops, I grabbed some of my darker green in there, but that's okay. Just like that. This is all background, so a lot of this we won't even see. So this is a beginner. Anybody can do this. You can do this with your kids. You can do this with literally anybody. There we go. Okay, we have our green leaves in. All right, and so I'm going to clean that brush off. And I think I'm gonna use it again. So I just did that same thing where I kind of pinched it a little bit. That's why I always have paint all over my hands. And I'm gonna go in with the darker pink, and I'm just gonna start dabbing in almost like, not lupine, but like this is like just sort of dabbing in the color like this in a lime. Like these almost like petals kind of poking out from. I don't even know what stalk, I guess you would call this. I don't know. Just kind of dabble in. That. And it's okay if it starts picking up the green paint a little bit, that's fine too. Just kind of gives it a little bit more depth. So you can kind of see how like the green leaves are just not getting swallowed up, but they're kind of in the background. Sometimes I do this and it all just, paint just works. And I have like good painting days, and sometimes I do this and it's a mess. I'll admit it. I don't know what today's gonna be. It feels like it may be kind of one of those days where it's a little bit more challenging to paint. That's okay. So I'm just, again, just dabbing in. There's no sort of anything fancy to it. All right. Now I'm going to go in with, I'm going to do a little bit of this off-white. And I'm just going to very lightly put in some of that. Same kind of thing, dabbing in. Maybe not as much as I did with the pink, this layer of pink. Just kind of throwing it in there. It's picking up the green, and that's okay. I like that. It's just playing around, messing around, seeing what works, what doesn't. So you see it's kind of starting to form like a bouquet type thing. I kind of like the way that it's picking up this pink and is making it interesting looking. This darker pink. Okay, so now I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna come back in, and let's see, I'm gonna do some orange now. Some orange, and I'm just kind of same thing, dabbing it in. Just like that. Oops, too much paint on there. The other thing is you can't overthink this too much. If you start like getting really, like, because I do that a lot too, think, oh, how will this look? How will that look? And sometimes if I just let it flow, I get a much better result. Instead of trying to overly think, especially with clouds. I don't know why, but if I just let it flow and let the clouds, when I'm painting clouds, just kind of do what they want to do, usually works out much better. And I get a much better painting and composition. This is turning out kind of interesting. I'm just kind of filling in the areas that look like they might need a little bit more. That. Okay. Interesting. All right, let us go to the medium pink. This pretty color. Let's start dabbling that in. And it's okay to go over some of the other flowers. That's all part of it. Oops, I just grabbed the other pink by accident. Get a little bit looser here. Honestly, you guys, I never know how these are going to turn out when I do these. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. But it's fun to find out. So now I'm just kind of dabbing it in every which way here, going over the other colors that are underneath. You can see how the green kind of got swallowed up. So this is looking really symmetrical, and that's not what I want. I want it to be a little bit more wild. So I'm going to clean my brush a little bit, and I'm going to take some of the white and just a tiny bit of that blue, white and the blue together. And I'm just going to start dabbing in that color. So it's like a light bluish pink. I'm just going to kind of go make it a little bit crazy. Oops, that's kind of brown. We don't want that. If it starts picking up the other color of paint too much, you just keep cleaning your brush and going back. And then dabbing it in, maybe just a little bit lighter. You have to be careful with orange because orange can make things look brown real fast. So now I'm just being very light with what I do here. This looks like larkspur. Oops, see? Well, this is becoming quite the bright painting here. A little bit brighter than I anticipated. All right, go back in. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I am gonna use that light pink, but I'm gonna tone it down a little bit by taking that darker green and dabbing that in. So it looks like there's leaves kind of. And what this does is it just sort of brings in a little bit of depth. Little dibble dabbles. You might even do like little leaves. That. Down here. Down there. Okay, looks interesting. Okay, I'm gonna put that brush to rest for a minute. I'm gonna take this brush, which is a little bit of a finer, pointier brush. Actually, it's a flat brush, but I want it to be flat. So it's not a pointy brush, I'm just kidding. And I'm gonna put in some, I'm really loading the paint on the brush. And now I'm just putting in some larger flowers. Now you could wait for the other part to dry before you do this. It's entirely up to you. So this is just putting in some like pinky flowers. They almost look like, it could be like peonies or chrysanthemums. Don't forget to get perspective. You know what that means. If you've watched my other videos, it means you take a step away as you're painting and you look to see how it's going. Prop up your painting and look at it from a distance. Really important. Highly recommend it. Getting there. We're getting there. Remember those green leaves we painted in the beginning? Can't even see them practically. But they're important because it provides a nice background, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna go back in with those other pinks, pick up that other brush, this one, and I'm gonna take the lighter pink and I'm gonna go back in and dab a little bit more of that in. A little bit of the darker pink. I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush off and I'm gonna grab that blue again. That bright blue. Brush is getting a lot of paint on the brush. This is when the brush starts getting, I call it tired. Add more in of that. So there's just a lot of layers in this. And you guys, you can choose any colors you want. You don't have to do these colors. I just want to do something super bright for the fun of it. Clean my brush off again. Now I'm going back in with that lighter green, and I'm dabbing that in a little bit, just in a few little spots, so to make those other colors pop. Cleaning off my brush again. This is at the end. I go back and forth, and I just do a lot of different messing around and fixing things. I don't love the way that that looks, so I'm going to take some of my paper towel. I'm going to dab it off here. Okay. Fix that little area there. And what I'll do is I will take some of that darker pink and kind of fix that. A lot of color on this one. If you like color, you like this painting. I had a woman come into my studio the other day, and she's an artist too, and she said, "You just have such an eye for color." I was like, "Oh, thank you, that's so nice." Cleaning my brush again. I'm going to take some white paint, and I'm just going to kind of go in here and try to fix that a little bit. Clean brush. See if I can, oh, that's not working very good. All right, I'm going to go back to plan B, and I'm going to put something right there. So I think I'm going to put some orange right there. Some nice pretty orange. See, as I go along, I make loads of mistakes. So let's just do a little dabs of orange in here, like that. All right, last part. We're going to go back into the white of the vase, and I'm just going to put a little bit of off-white in it, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth, just like that. You don't have to do this. You could leave it white if you wanted, or whatever color you want. Kind of going back and forth, the white and the off-white. A little line in there. Get a little pink in there, that's okay. I kind of like that little bit of pink in there. Maybe put a little bit more in. Oops, clean that brush. I grabbed some blue, and I don't want to do that. It's just a little bit of pink. Pink and white and off-white. And we just bring it down, more white. We're just about done. Gonna kind of fill in this area a little bit so it looks nice and symmetrical. Maybe put a little bit of white in here, just a couple little dots. Soften it up a little. If you don't like that, go back over it with a different color, like the light pink. There you go, and it's gone. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It was fun to do. This is just a very loose, sort of pretty bowl of flowers. It's a nice bright colors. So if you like what you see, please like my page, subscribe, and send this to anybody you think might be interested in learning how to paint very, very simply. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.